Hi, I'm Alex Mercado, and this is my cultural artifact assignment. And the topic I decided to do today was palayoks, which are from Filipino culture, because I am Filipino. Now, there were many turning points throughout the Philippines' history, whether it was their original colonization from Spaniards to their later development and colonization through American ties. Although these sad truths did occur for early colonial Filipinos, the Filipino identity has been able to live on through these events, through their artifacts. One being the palayok. The palayok is originally an earthenware ceramic pot introduced introduced during the country's Neolithic period through the arrival of maritime communities. Known this was known as the introduction of pottery to the Philippine archipelago. Founded in northern Luzon, Masbates, Tawi-Tawi, Palawan, and more through excavation in recent time. This opened up a history of textile technologies and connections between the Philippines and other countries, such as South Korea, which also use a similar pot that resembles the palayok. These pots are still used today in Filipino culture, representing community, craftsmanship, resilience, and the nation's love through food. Palayoks were mainly seen in a setting incorporating food. The Neolithic period took place around 4,200 years ago, so the main way of producing these pots was from utilizing clay and mud, which we still see today. Palayoks were used to store ingredients such as water and rice, but also used for cooking, such as a stove. On top of that, they were used for fermentation of different liquids, including alcohol, vinegar, and fish sauce, with large earthen jars, referred to as tapayan, being used to ferment tapay or fermented rice. Another way palayoks influenced the Philippines was through their usage during early Filipino rituals and burials. During burying their dead in jars, as seen as common practice amongst Southeast Asia and East Asia spanning from 3,000 to 1,000 years ago. Made by clay or carving stones, these palayokes were made into various shapes such as rectangle, squares, and more round objects, and were typically placed in caves while facing the sea. An example of these burials would be the Manongol jar from 890 to 710 BC, founded in Palawan in the early 1960s. A secondary jar was found with symbols inscribed within red clay or hematite. These symbols depicted two people on a boat, representing this couple's journey to the afterlife, with the figure in front having both hands crossed over their chests, indicating an early traditional Filipino practice when handling their corpses. This version of earthenware reflected the complex relationship and beliefs of early Filipinos towards death and towards their beliefs towards the afterlife. With all of this in mind, palayoks are very important and still seen as an enduring tradition in the Philippines. Many women in rural areas use their skills in making palayokes as another source of income that is not fishing, farming, or selling food, or running a small little convenience store, with the clay being collected the same way as the past from nearby areas, rivers, or the ocean, from nearby areas until they are cleaned of debris such as stones and leaves, and soon kneaded by foot. It is believed that using these earthenware pots makes food more flavorful while used as a stove that is seen in the past and now in town plazas. Palayokes have such a rich history when it comes to early Filipino culture and traditions, whether it is through their love for food or honoring their ancestors and loved ones. Although palayokes can be seen as an everyday pot in a Filipino kitchen in the Philippines, next time you are in a kitchen, look around and wonder what other rich culture you are surrounded by, whether it is from Asia, Europe, South America, or maybe even your own culture. So, thank you for listening into my cultural artifact speech, and I hope you learned something today. So, bye!